Hello, my name is Arjan and today I will be talking about whether if prison is the most effective form of punishment and if there are any alternatives that can be used instead of prison. I will begin with one of the most common forms of punishment, and that is prison. Let's start off what prison is. Prison is a building of which people are legally held as punishment for a crime they have committed or while awaiting trial. But why do we use prison as a form of punishment? Well, this is because it is an effective method when dealing with crime and deterring others from committing that form of crime, whether it be in petty theft or rape. It also deters younger generations from committing crime as well, so first-time offenders, as it creates a sense of fear to those who have never committed crime before. Prison sets an example to people who believe they can get away with crime and thinking they don't have to deal with the consequences. Prison is an effective method because it creates a separation between those who abide by the law and those who do not. It sends a direct message that if you do not abide by the law that is set in place by a government, that there will be consequences for your actions and the offence that you have done. However, prison is effective when used in the right form of situation. This is because prison is not always effective. It does take away time from the offender, away from family and friends, and to have a social life. It excludes the offender from the outside world because they are locked away in a confined building. However, this can cause many mental illnesses such as depression and anxiety. As prison is a confined building full of criminal violence and has a high tendency, this can only result in getting an increase on the sentencing time because of the violent criminals in the building. In all, prison is not the most effective because of what it can cause and the disadvantages towards being in prison, the lack of health and facilities available to them. However, it does also help it does not help the offender migrate back into society after serving their time in prison. However, even though prison may not be the most effective, there are alternative forms of punishment that we can use as a society to tackle crime and prevent it from happening. One form would be rehabilitation. This is still a punishment, but a lesser form because it is less severe to prison and more to do with the individual's mental health and how they deal with themselves. Because what is rehabilitation? It is the process of helping someone to stop taking drugs or alcohol. Rehab is an effective punishment as it can help the individual to deal with their emotions of the past and how they behave in society. It can help the offender to turn their lives around and not make the same mistakes they once made when they offended in the first place. Rehab can reshape the individual to not commit crime, but to become a law-abiding citizen with a positive outlook on the world. Additionally, rehab can deter crime as well as offenders and help individuals seek help. If aware of the help, crime can easily be tackled and rates can be reduced. Rather than being in prison because of the crime committed, the individual can seek out help and prevent others from committing crime. One punishment that is used which is similar to prison and is not rehabilitation is community service. This is a form of punishment which is more effective to young adults and the younger generation. This is because it shows them that even though they have committed crime and it is their first time, it will not go unanswered and they still will be punished. Community service is unpaid work intended to be of social use, such as charity work or picking up litter, that the offender is required to do so instead of going to prison. The criminal would have to serve out a community service program that fits the crime committed and is set for a period of time by the judge when on trial. This is an effective punishment for young adults, as previously mentioned. This is because it can deter the first-time offenders from committing crime and allow them to reflect on what they are doing. It is normally used for the minor crimes, such as petty theft. So, like, for example, if an individual were to go to a shop and try and steal a piece of gum or something, community service would be a way to prevent them from committing that crime again, as it is a punishment which is taken out of their own time and not as severe, but it will help deter them from committing another crime which could result in them going to prison. However, when it comes to more severe punishments, more severe crimes, such as rape or murder, I do not think that community service is most effective. This is only because it sends a message that they've committed such a severe crime, it's being accepted to perform that form of crime, which is not. Therefore, community service seems like a downgraded form of punishment to those offenders who have committed more than once. But with every aspect taken into consideration, community service is still an effective punishment, but not just as much as prison or rehabilitation. It is for first-time offenders and the younger generation, as it invokes fear into those who have never committed crime before. In conclusion, the most effective form of punishment is rehabilitation. This is ultimately because of how it shares similarities with both prison and community service. as well as it being time consuming, just as community service is. It locks away the offender away from society to help get treatment for their mental health issues or the way they think. And one of the forms of therapy that is used is cognitive therapy. This helps them to think in a different way and not to commit crime, and to deter them from committing crimes and make better decisions in life. I believe that because rehabilitation takes the individual away from their family and uses up precious time that they could be having with their family, that it is the most effective form of crime, as it not only helps the individual or the offender from not committing crime again and taking away certain privileges, it allows them to migrate back into society and become a better person of themselves. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.